Well, our top story today, the coronavirus, a stark rise in the number of new cases. Health officials in China reporting 242 new deaths as a result of the virus and nearly 15,000 new cases being added to the tally. The dramatic jump comes after authorities changed their counting methods. That's fueled concern the epidemic is far worse than what has been reported. Yahoo Finance's Anjalee Khemlani joins us now with more. And Anjalee, there is some controversy. Well, there was controversy over the testing before.
Right.
But it doesn't sound like that these new methods are perfect either.
Well, what it does is it sort of disrupts the trend line, right? So if you're watching the case build up from before and counting the cases that were reported then, now you have this sudden spike that doesn't even have a time frame around it. So what happened was on February 6th, the National Health Department in China decided to update the requirements for how Hubei province, which is the epicenter of this outbreak, is supposed to record their cases. And that includes clinically diagnosed. And that means basically anything that shows up on an imaging device or a scan of some sort, not just showing the symptoms or actually testing positive. And so with that number just suddenly coming into the picture, we saw this nearly 15,000 spike just yesterday. But the World Health Organization is saying that based on their information, it doesn't necessarily mean that those were just cases in the last 24 hours. It's actually going further back. And we don't know when that further back is. So that's where the concerning number is coming from. But the concerns are still there that we do not know, in fact, how big this case is.
I mean, China is huge, 1.3 to 1.4 billion people. Spent a bunch of time there. You could argue that it's pretty disorganized in terms of, societal functions.
Data collection.
Right. And then you have the opaqueness of the Chinese government. So I love, you see these precision numbers. I'm like, well, not so much.
And it matches their GDP estimates, actually.
Right, yeah, right. Well, which will be impacted, but to what degree, right?
Yeah. And we also know that the shortage of testing kits is actually what has been a problem in reporting numbers around the world. So you're talking about the entire continent of Africa, where we know that there is a huge volume of mobility between China and those countries because of the economic ties that they have there, yet no cases have been reported there yet. So we're waiting to see where, when those start to happen. And we also know, kind of breaking right now, that there will be a 15th case in the U.S. announced shortly. We don't know where it is just yet. But again, these are just reported cases. There have been no deaths in the U.S.
It's interesting, even as we hear more about the new numbers, we have experts rolling through here saying, look, remember, this isn't even as bad as the flu can be seasonally. Now, as you said yesterday, that has been a little question, but that take has kind of become popular, the idea that there might be a little too much FUD right now regarding coronavirus.
Right. Well, and also we have to remember that this is a developing situation, so it's actually normal for us to see this level of fluctuation. In fact, the World Health Organization did address it yesterday, if you want to take a listen to what they were saying.
When the situation is evolving, you change your definition just to make sure that you can monitor the disease accurately. And this is what they have done recently, changing the case definition to incorporate mild cases that were not in the initial case definition, but also integrate the cases that are post-symptomatic or with little symptom because they were testing contacts around the cases.
So like you can hear, they're expecting the numbers to rise, and we almost seem like we're at the very beginning of being able to track this.
Well, we should mention also we continue to see the effect on various companies.
Correct.
We're going to talk about Alibaba in a moment, but the Mobile World Congress, which is this huge conference in Barcelona where a lot of the big tech and mobile phone companies come, they've now canceled it after a bunch of companies said they weren't going to come anyway. Nissan came out with numbers that probably wouldn't have been great anyway, but it's now probably exacerbated by the coronavirus situation. So
right, absolutely.
Those reports mounting.
Absolutely, and we know that we're going to be seeing more and more companies start to think about the effect. While we've seen, especially in the travel and leisure sector, we've seen how there have been shutdown operations, slowdown operations, but no one's really talked about what the broader impact can because we do not know how long this is going to last.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Anjalee, thanks so much.
Hey, investors. Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.